Do you remember the lawyer from the Manchester airport police assault?
A CT scan has revealed there is a cyst on his brain.
There he is. Well, he's back today because after narrowly failing last year to become an MP, and before that the Mayor of Birmingham, Akhmed Yakoob is now creating a new Islamic political party.
We are going to put up candidates in every ward in Birmingham. We have mentioned it before. Now is the time to take action. We are going to launch Independent Candidate Alliance, and all of the candidates will be under that umbrella.
For far too long, the Labour Party and its councillors and members of Parliament have reaped the rewards on the back of our communities, and rather than represent them, have misrepresented them. No more.
It's because the councillors and the members of Parliament are subservient to their leadership rather than the people who have put them in power. We are no longer going to tolerate this.
Remember that.
OK, well, I don't need to remind you of the dangers of sectarian politics in the UK, but unfortunately, it does seem that until we have a drastic change of course, that appears to be the direction we're heading. But I do want to shed light on these two characters who are setting up the pro-Islam Independent Candidate Alliance. Let's start with Akhmed Yakoob, the former lawyer of the Manchester airport defendants who claimed his clients in that situation were victims of an attempted assassination at the hands of police. This is Yakoob boasting how he worked to get another of his clients a soft sentence after dealing Class A drugs.
Heroin supplier receives only 8 months in custody and will be out of prison soon. Those are the type of headlines that you expect to see in Birmingham Mail after my client today received only 8 months for supplying Class A drugs. But they don't know the backstory that my client was actually being forced to sell drugs because of a death that he had got himself into.
Last year, Yakoob apologised for joking about domestic violence on a podcast where he said 70% of hell will be women. When another podcast guest said he would give a female a backhander, Yakoob replied, "Brother, are you saying that if she comes up in your personal space, you'll defend yourself?" And that's, of course, a reference to defence arguments employed by lawyers, which prompted laughter from all other guests on the podcast. And on that same podcast episode, Yakoob is seen laughing along when the man he created this new party with, Shaquille Afsar, who I'll get onto in a second, said this.
Okay, you know, the other argument is, okay, so if you don't like it here, go to your own country.
But why would we do that when our forefathers were instrumental in rebuilding this country after World War II? It was our grandfathers who worked in the factories 20 hours. It was our grandfathers who came here and run the infrastructure. It was our grandfathers who brought you the lovely curry, which is your national dish. So how can you tell us to go? We're not going nowhere. We are here to stay. Like I say, we're not here to take part. We're here to take over.
Last month, Yakoob is understood to have paid thousands of pounds in damages to a young teacher he accused online of being a racist. Cheryl Bennett faced hate mail, abuse and threats, and also feared for her job after an online mob set on her following Yakoob's false accusations. Yakoob, who runs Morris Andrews' law firm in Birmingham, is said to be under investigation still by the Solicitors Regulation Authority over the incident, though no formal proceedings have yet been brought. Last year, Yakoob also retweeted this post about the Yemeni Houthi rebels. The long thread included detail about the Houthis, such as they love death as much as you love life, if not more. They are natural-born fighters. They obey all their leaders. Their only fear is punishment and the wrath of Allah if they fail to support the people of Palestine. Donald Trump, of course, last week prescribed the Houthis as foreign terrorists after their persistent attacks on US and Royal Navy ships in the Gulf of Aden. And just last week, Yakoob revealed he himself was detained by counter-terror police at the Channel Tunnel.
I was arrested for terrorism. The police searched my car, my phone was taken off me, and my laptop was taken off me.
He was released without arrest or charge. So what about the other guy who started the Independent Candidate Alliance with Yakoob? We just mentioned him briefly. His name is Shaquille Afsar, and we caught a flavour of him just then. Last year, he suggested Israel's campaign in Gaza made them Nazis.
When I was in secondary school, I always wondered in my history lessons, how did a person like Hitler get away with massacring so barbarically so much innocent human life without anybody stopping him? I always wondered, how did this guy get away with doing such heinous things and nobody around the world stopped him? To be honest with you, right now, I know exactly how he got away with it.
Afsar also thinks immigrants have made Britain what it is today.
I hope every British citizen will thank God for the immigrants who have come here and made this country what it is today. The surgeons, the cardiovascular doctors, the cardiovascular nurses, the people who have invested in businesses here, the members of parliament.
And he boasted about aiming to bring down the Labour Party piece by piece over, quotes, the plight of his people.
Time has come for us to work even more vigorously for the plight of our people. This is only the beginning, and we must ensure that we bring the Labour Party down piece by piece.
So there we go. Make up your own minds about whether you think these two people should come within an inch of our parliament. They haven't yet registered their party with the Electoral Commission, but don't think it's not possible to see them soon wandering the corridors of power, because Yakoob narrowly lost out on becoming an MP last year. And these two are very clear and very focused on what they want to achieve. And I'm pleased to say they join me now. Solicitor and former Birmingham parliamentary candidate Akhmed Yakoob and Shaquille Afsar, also a former Birmingham parliamentary candidate. Good evening to you both. Thank you for joining me. I'm pleased to have your company, actually. We'll run through point by point what I just mentioned in that introduction there, so you can have your right of reply, chaps. But first of all, Akhmed, explain what the Independent Candidate Alliance is and what your goals are, if you would.
First of all, thank you very much, Ben, for having us, and good evening. In terms of the Independent Candidate Alliance, it's an alliance of independent candidates all over Birmingham. And we are focusing on the neglected working class people in the inner city areas of Birmingham. And like you mentioned earlier, that we are launching a Islamist party. This is not an Islamist party. And this party is open to all faiths and people of all color. We have had inquiries from people of the white background, black background, Asian background, Sikh background, and all sorts. So when we are going to come, we are coming as a united force of all religions and all faiths and of all colors.
OK. Can I ask then, if that applies to Shaquille, maybe you can answer this. When you said that, or suggested that what was going on in Gaza, that Israel were behaving like Nazis, are Jews welcome in your party?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I'm absolutely disgusted how you introduced us as claiming that we are Islamist party when our logo actually bears
Never said
the
Islamist.
flag of England. Well, this is actually, I feel what you're trying to do is disguide your viewers when we actually have the flag of United Kingdom within our ICA logo, which we are very proud of. And as my colleague right here is wearing the England t-shirt. So for you to suggest that we're trying to make some Islamic state is absolutely a derogatory comment, but bringing it
Shaquille, let me respond to that.
Bringing it back to whether Jewish people are allowed in our party. This is an alliance. This is an alliance for any person who feels disproportionately misrepresented. Okay. This is not about mine or Ahmed's religious views. This is that we want to stand for people who feel misrepresented, representative, regardless of their caste, color, or creed. We do not discriminate people. And when I said that the Israeli establishment are like the Nazis, I absolutely agree. I categorically believe that what Netanyahu is doing, he is a modern day Hitler, and he is behaving like a Nazi. And the fact that you are actually pushing to your viewers or disallowing this, I feel quite worried, Ben.
Oh, you're worried about me?
I am absolutely, Ben.
Yes, all right. The narrative that you're trying to push.
No, Shaquille, sorry, let me just go back to Shaquille. You said you're not here to take over. Let me play this clip from your podcast last year. You said that very same thing. Let's play that clip again, just to remind our viewers. Let's play the takeover clip again.
No problem.
Okay, you know the other argument is, okay, so if you don't like it here, go to your own country.
But why would we do that when our forefathers were instrumental in rebuilding this country after World War II? It was our grandfathers who worked in the factories 20 hours. It was our grandfathers who came here and run the infrastructure. It was our grandfathers who bought you the lovely curry, which is your national dish. So how can you tell us to go? We're not going nowhere. We are here to stay. Like I say, we're not here to take part. We're here to take over.
So is that what your party's about? Are you taking over the UK?
Like I said to you, we are here to stay. We are not here to take part, but we are here to take over.
What was that clip about then? Can you address that?
What I mean by that, Ben, is we are here to take over from those right-wing extremists like Nigel Farage, like Tommy Robinson, like the Reform Party, who is on the back of disproportionately discriminating our communities, gaining votes. We are here to take over from them. Most certainly we will take over from them, Ben.
So when you said in that clip there, we plan to take over, because the conversation was about Muslims being told to go home, and you were saying, well, no, Muslims built this country post-World War II. We gave you curry as your national dish. We don't plan to take part. We plan to take over. So you're saying that your words there were misconstrued?
Ben, we are British Muslims.
Right.
So as British Muslims, we are here to take over from right-wing and actually extreme left-wing extremism and bring it back. And most of your viewers, for those of you who don't know us, we are not actually here to push forward our religious values. We are here to fight the right-wing and the extreme left-wing narrative that exists in our communities.
Well, I think we agree on the left-wing agitators, so at least that's something we agree on.
We agree on both. You agree on one.
Yeah. Ahmed, I'm going to come to you in just a second, but Shaquille, you said that this isn't a religious thing, but you were protesting. You were one of the main protesters, actually, at the Lady of Heaven film being banned some years ago because it criticised the Prophet Muhammad. And this is what you said. I've got a clip. This is what you said about laying your life on the line for the Prophet Muhammad, if we've got this clip.
Birmingham will not tolerate the disrespect of our Prophet, peace be upon him, and there will be outcomes from your actions. You will have repercussions for your actions. We have been trained from birth that we must defend the honor of our Prophet, and we will lay our life on the line.
So what does that mean, that you'll lay your life on the line for the Prophet Muhammad? You still there?
But I'll clarify for you, like I did for your colleague Nigel Farage on this very same channel, that when we say we will lay our life on the line to guide and protect the honor of our Prophet, we will use all legal avenues available to us. We will protest against films that are disproportionately causing hate amongst our communities. We will protest against those individuals who want to divide us. And like I said to Nigel Farage on this very TV, when I said we will defend the honor of our Prophet, we did not mean that we will pick up rocket launchers and start to murder people. We are law-abiding citizens who will use the democratic powers to our advantage, like we are doing so. This is why, like my dear brother Ahmed said, the formation of the ICA has showed us how many different people from different caste, color, or creeds, whether they're Muslim, Christian, Jewish, blue, pink, are joining our cause. And overnight, we've already gained over 1,200 members.
All right, last question to you, Shaquille. Do you believe in blasphemy laws or free speech? Because your current, record suggests that you believe in blasphemy laws. Is that correct?
I believe if individuals start issues in our streets that prevent the breach of the peace and they cause hate amongst communities, that there needs to be some laws put into place to protect
so you believe in blasphemy laws?
Yeah, no, I believe that we need to stop any breach of the peace. I believe that we need to protect our communities.
Well, can I not peacefully criticise Islam?
Sorry, Ben. The same way, if somebody was burning the Jewish Torah in the middle of Bullring, me and Ahmed would be the first people to stop them. The same way, if they were burning a Bible, we would be the first people to stop them. And I'm sure you've seen previously people have announced to burn the Bible, but have actually gone there and said we can never burn this book. So the narrative you're painting, my dear friend, is
I've never seen a bloke get arrested for burning the Bible, but last week somebody was arrested for burning the Quran. Ahmed, let me just come to you. There's a couple of clips I played in that introduction there. The reason I'm posing these to you, by the way, guys, is to get a flavour of what you'd stand for if and when you make Parliament. And to be honest, I'm quite sure you would make Parliament. So when people like you are making our laws, I think it's quite important that the electorate understand who's roaming the corridors of power. Ahmed, you apologised recently for comments about domestic violence on a podcast. Have you got a problem with women? Because you seem to have a bit of a trend where, again, recently in a separate incident, you set an online mob on a poor teacher, calling her racist. You had to pay her thousands of pounds in compensation. Is there an issue there with women?
There is no issue whatsoever with women. I've got a wife. I was born from a woman.
So I have no issues. And like you rightfully said, Ben, I have apologized, and I don't want to keep apologizing for my past. And in terms of the teacher, it's been settled with her. I'm not obliged to keep answering the same questions again and again.
OK, I'll ask you another one. Do you want Sharia law in the UK?
No, of course no.
And what do you make of the October 7th attack?
I think that it was a terrible attack, but it has nothing to do with the Independent Candidate Alliance. Why you have called us on today.
Yeah.
And I do hope that Palestine is free one day.
OK, I'm going to introduce my panel now, because they've got questions for you, if you don't mind. We've got Will Kingston, Chloe Dobbs and the former Labour Minister Bill Rammell, who you'd probably be quite keen to talk to, seeing as that you're targeting Labour seats. Will, do you want to go first? What's your question?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. I'm sure you would both agree that the grooming or rape gangs scandal was one of the UK's great sources of national shame. You know that those grooming gangs were overwhelmingly comprised of Pakistani Muslim men. Some people have said that the motivations behind those grooming gangs were in part driven by attitudes towards women in parts of the Islamic community. What would you do to address both the grooming gangs, which we know are still operating today, as well as broader attitudes towards women in parts of the Islamic community in the United Kingdom?
Well, I've said it a number of times. Grooming is a very, very serious crime, and it doesn't matter who does it. And a particular faith or a particular type of people should not be targeted if one or two of those people commit a particular offense. Whether it's a Pakistani, whether it's a white man, whether it's a Muslim man, whether it's a Christian man, whether it's a Jewish man, a crime is a crime, and we will do our level best to prevent this kind of behavior. I'm a father of 4 children myself, and I'm against this, and I will forever be against this.
But with respect, I think that's a deflection, because these gangs were overwhelmingly, as in 99%, comprised of Muslim majority men. There is a common denominator there. So the question would be, how would you actually address that in what is parts of the Islamic community in the United Kingdom?
Well, look, I'll add in here. To be honest with you, as individuals who live here, we believe that anybody who is involved in any type of grooming should be punished for the full extent of the law. But the fact that the media has pushed this to be a Muslim issue and an Asian issue, as you guys and the panel will know, that majority of the UK sex offenders are white middle-aged men who look like yourself. So to be quite honest with you, with all due respect, for you to isolate one community and ask us what we feel about it, we feel disgusted, absolutely disgusted, and we believe anybody who is involved in such activity should be put into the harshest punishment given. But when you clarify this point, the press and the media like to isolate it to a Muslim issue, but which you find you have your right to do so. But please then clarify also that majority of the paedophile and sexual offenders are white middle-aged men that look like yourselves.
I can clarify. We know that is because the vast majority of men in this country are white men. So it is on a per capita level, these sorts of crimes are disproportionately committed by Islamic or people from migrant Islamic communities. That's the issue that I want to get at, is there's disproportionate.
Chloe, very quick question. You've got about 20 seconds. I'm sorry. Push for time.
Ahmed, I wanted to just pick up again on your comments about women in the podcast you went on. In the same podcast where you said hell will be 70% women, I believe you also said it's natural for men to be attracted to females, so keep our queens at home. Can you just clarify for any females in the electorate that might be concerned about voting for you, do you think women should go outside unattended? Do you think women should have to be covered up when they go outside? And should women have jobs?
Of course women should have jobs, and of course women should be allowed to go outside. What I meant by my comments, I know exactly what I said, is I gave an example of if a woman goes outside and exposes herself, it's natural for men to look at that woman. If the woman is going to be covered up, then there's not going to be that attraction from men, because they won't have anything to see.
OK, Bill Rammell, question?
Mr. Yakoob, the case of the teacher, Cheryl Bennett, is one of the most appalling cases of harassment and intimidation that I've seen. This totally innocent young woman had a video doctored of her, racist slurs that she didn't claim were put in her mouth, and you circulated that video. And for that, you've recently paid thousands of pounds in compensation to that individual. You claim not to have doctored the video. Do you know who did? And do you think it should be a priority for the police to find out who doctored that video?
Most definitely should be a priority for the police. And I've been saying that from the outset. If anyone was the initial victim, it was myself, because I feel that the video was doctored and sent to my media team. On a day, it was known that I would immediately make it public knowledge, because I had an issue, not with Cheryl Bennett, with the Labour Party and the racism that I suffered from the Labour Party. When I received 70,000 votes, a senior member of the Labour Party made a statement saying that today the real winners of the West Midlands elections are going to be Hamas, inferring that I'm associated with Hamas or something. So I was a victim of racism from the Labour Party. Another member of the Labour Party, Luke Akers, described Muslims leaving the Labour parties as fleas leaving. So I, at that time, was a victim of racism, and people knew that I would share that video, and that's why it was forwarded to my media team. So I was the victim as well as Cheryl. I have apologized to Cheryl.
Isn't it the case that you paid significant compensation to that woman because you refused to withdraw the video, and it took a significant period of time before you did so?
That's incorrect. I made...
Then why did you pay thousands of pounds worth of compensation?
I made efforts to get an expert involved. Once the expert could not identify exactly what the words were saying, the videos...
Why did you pay thousands of pounds worth of compensation, Mr. Yakoob?
I made efforts also to get the video removed from...
Why did you pay the compensation?
Guys, we're running out of time, unfortunately. You could just answer that final question. Why did you pay her compensation and apologise? Very quickly.
Because I was sorry for what I did. Okay. What I did was I shared the video.
All right, you shared it.
I shared the video. I'm a man. I own up to my mistakes, and I apologise.
Okay, listen.
And I wish Cheryl the best in her family life, because I'm sure she's pregnant now. I read. And I wish her all the best. I've got nothing against her. I've got something against the Labour Party, and the Independent Candidate Alliance will take that from Birmingham.
Thank you. Thank you for being on tonight. I thought it was important to let our viewers know, and indeed the rest of the country, what kind of party you have just launched. Just to be clear, you still think Israel are Nazis. You deny that the putting your life on the line for Mohammed is in any way violent. It's purely political. You stick to that. Yeah, there we go. Thank you for the answers. Thank you for your time, and the panel as well. Thank you, Will, Chloe, Bill, and you at home.